The marks beneath the fog. If strange circles begin appearing along a forest trail, do not step inside them. I wish someone had told me that before I found the first one. The memory begins with rain. Not a storm. Not the violent kind that rattles windows and floods roads. Just a steady drizzle that hung over the world like a gray curtain. I had always liked weather like that. The woods behind my town felt different when it rained. Quieter. Older. The place sat between a highway and a cluster of suburban neighborhoods, but once you stepped beneath the trees, the noise of civilization seemed to dissolve. The forest swallowed everything. I walked there often. At the time, I told people it was for exercise. That wasn't entirely true. The real reason was guilt. 10 years earlier, when I was 14, I had done something I never talked about. Something small. Something stupid. Something that should have been forgotten. Yet somehow it followed me into adulthood. Back then, a group of us used to spend weekends exploring abandoned lots and patches of woodland around town. We thought we were invincible. One afternoon we found an injured fox trapped in a rusted wire snare. The animal was terrified. Its leg had been mangled. The others wanted to leave. I wanted to impress them. So I picked up a rock. I told myself I was ending its suffering. But that wasn't why I did it. I did it because I wanted to look fearless. The fox died staring at me. I still remember its eyes. Amber. Bright. Almost human. The others laughed nervously afterward. We never spoke about it again. But I never forgot. Years passed. The memory dulled, but it never disappeared. Every now and then I'd wake up from dreams involving yellow eyes watching from dark places. Eventually I convinced myself I was being ridiculous. Then the circles appeared. I was halfway through my usual trail when I noticed one pressed into the mud. Perfectly round. About 3 feet across. No footprints. No animal tracks. Just a dark ring etched into the earth. At first I assumed kids had made it. Then I saw another. And another. Each one spaced exactly the same distance apart. Leading deeper into the forest. Something about them bothered me. I should have turned around. Instead, I followed. The deeper I walked, the quieter the woods became. Birdsong faded. Wind disappeared. Even the distant traffic vanished. The silence felt unnatural. Like the forest was holding its breath. Soon I noticed something else. The trees were changing. Not physically. At least not at first. They simply looked wrong. Branches seemed longer than they should have been. Shadows stretched in impossible directions. Every time I glanced away and looked back, the forest appeared slightly different. The sensation made my stomach tighten. I checked my phone. No signal. Of course. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the time. The screen read 11:17 a.m. I had entered the trail at 11:12. Yet I had been walking for at least an hour. My pulse quickened. I looked behind me. The path was gone. Only trees remained. Tall. Black. Endless. The circles continued ahead. So I kept moving. What else could I do? Eventually fog began rising from the ground. Thin at first. Then thicker. The air smelled damp and earthy. Underneath it lurked another scent. Something rotten. Something old. I tried to ignore it. That was when I heard footsteps. Not human footsteps. Four-legged. Moving through leaves somewhere to my right. I froze. The sound stopped. A few seconds passed. Then two amber eyes appeared between the trees. Watching. The shape behind them resembled a fox. But it was too large. Much too large. Its shoulders nearly reached my chest. The creature remained motionless. Neither approaching nor retreating. Just watching. Then it vanished. The moment it disappeared, I noticed another circle. This one wasn't carved into the earth. It was made from bones. Tiny bones arranged into a perfect ring. Bird bones. Rabbit bones. Animal bones. Hundreds of them. My instincts screamed at me to run. Instead, I stepped closer. The moment my foot crossed the boundary, dizziness struck. The world tilted. Trees twisted. Fog surged upward. And darkness swallowed everything. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the forest anymore. At least I don't think I was. The sky above me churned like liquid silver. Massive black roots hung from the heavens instead of clouds. Strange stars drifted between them. Slowly. Deliberately. As if alive. I tried to stand. Pain exploded through my body. I looked down. Thin vines wrapped around my wrists and ankles. Not restraining me. Examining me. The vines pulsed gently beneath my skin. Like fingers searching for something. Panic surged through me. I tore free. The vines retreated instantly. Not fighting. Almost, obediently. I staggered to my feet. The landscape stretched endlessly. Forests of pale trees. Fields of black grass. Rivers that reflected impossible constellations. And everywhere I looked, amber eyes watched from the darkness. Thousands of them. Some near. Some far away. None blinking. None moving. Watching. Waiting. A sound echoed across the landscape. A low hum. Then voices. Whispers. Hundreds of whispers. They spoke in languages I didn't recognize. Yet somehow I understood every word. Not through meaning. through emotion, regret, fear, shame, sorrow. The voices carried memories. Not mine. Other people's. Fragments of terrible moments. Cruel acts. Selfish decisions. Violence. Betrayal. Abandonment. Every whisper belonged to someone who had hurt another living thing. And every whisper ended the same way. With silence. Then came footsteps. Slow. Measured. Approaching from the fog. Figures emerged. Small. Perhaps 4 feet tall. Their bodies concealed beneath cloaks woven from leaves and roots. Their faces hidden. Only their eyes visible. Amber. Burning. The first figure stopped several yards away. Then another arrived. And another. Soon dozens surrounded me. None spoke. None threatened me. They simply watched. One of them stepped forward. In its hands rested a polished stone bowl. Inside the bowl floated water. The surface reflected my face. Except it wasn't my face. It was 14-year-old me. Standing over the wounded fox. Holding the rock. I looked away. The bowl followed. The image remained. The fox stared directly at me. Its amber eyes filled the reflection. The same eyes from my nightmares. The same eyes I had spent years avoiding. Something inside me broke. I fell to my knees. Not from fear. From recognition. The memory was no longer distant. No longer faded. I felt every emotion exactly as I had that day. The arrogance. The cruelty. The shame afterward. All of it returned at once. The figures watched silently. They weren't judging me. That somehow felt worse. The bowl shattered. The water spilled across the ground. Instantly the landscape changed. The black grass transformed into ordinary forest undergrowth. The silver sky became clouds. The strange stars vanished. For a moment I thought everything was over. Then the fox appeared. Standing directly in front of me. The same fox. Its damaged leg dragged behind it. Yet it looked healthy. Whole. Alive. It approached slowly. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. The fox stopped inches away. Then it pressed its forehead against mine. A single memory flooded into my head. Not my memory. Its memory. Pain. Terror. Confusion. The desperate instinct to survive. The crushing impact. The final moment before darkness. I experienced everything. Every second. From the animal's perspective. The horror was unbearable. I screamed. And screamed. And screamed. Until there was no voice left. When it ended, I collapsed. The fox stepped back. its form dissolved into drifting sparks. The figures around me began walking away, returning to the fog, leaving me alone. I wanted to call after them, to ask what they were, why they had brought me there. But deep down I already knew. They weren't executioners. They weren't monsters. They were witnesses. Custodians of forgotten suffering. Keepers of debts people believed time had erased. Before the last figure disappeared, it turned toward me. For the first time, I saw part of its face beneath the hood. It wasn't human, nor animal, nor anything I can properly describe. Yet its expression carried a strange kindness, a silent understanding. Then it vanished. The landscape faded. Darkness returned. I woke beside the trail at sunset. Rain tapped softly against the leaves. My phone lay beside me. The screen read 11:18 a.m. 1 minute had passed. Only one. At least according to the world. I stumbled home. For weeks I told nobody. Who would believe me? Even now I'm not sure I believe it myself. But some things changed afterward. The nightmares stopped. The guilt never disappeared completely, but it transformed into something else. Something useful. Something honest. Months later I returned to the trail. Part of me hoped I'd find answers. Instead, I found a single circle pressed into the mud. Fresh. Perfect. Waiting. Beside it stood a deer. The animal watched me for several seconds, then turned and disappeared into the trees. I never stepped inside that circle. Not again. But sometimes, when fog settles over the woods, I see distant amber eyes watching from between the trunks. And I think about the people carrying burdens far heavier than mine. The people who believe their worst actions are buried safely in the past. If you ever find strange circles leading into a forest, understand this: they are not traps. They are invitations. And whatever waits at the end already knows exactly what you've done.